Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the SPY weekly update. And of course, I'm going to talk about this company called Facebook. So in this video, I'm going to split into two parts where I will share about SPY and the current markets update. And then the second thing will be about Facebook, because I think in a lot of investors' mind, right, Facebook is actually going to do their earnings in the April 29, 2020. All right. So are you guys ready? Let's go. So I'll share my screen now on the SPY, where I will share with you a little bit about how the market is actually performing. Okay, so right now, let's take a look at the weekly chart of SPY. Now, in this week's video, I'm going to share more, right? So for SPY, this price here has already bounced up tremendously. I think a lot of investors right now are actually asking, right? Has the bear market been over, and are we going to see a bull run? So first thing first, right? Let's take a look at the latest performance. We see a increase in the stock prices from the low, which is from 23rd March, right, on my screen here. You can see that SPY has really gone up almost close to from about 230, okay, about 220 lowest, and it has gone up to about 284 in 1234 in over the last 4 weeks. And some people are thinking like, will the market continue to climb higher? Right. We must understand one thing is that previously when coronavirus kicks in, right, where the world is reporting higher confirmed cases, death rates is climbing, the market is kind of like pricing for this. But the problem, right, with the understanding is that will the businesses around still continue to be affected despite the US stimulus? Stimulus means, right, the government is actually printing out money, giving rescue relief packages to the people, to the businesses around. So right now, what we can see here is that despite this bounce, right, we don't actually see a very strong what we call the bull trending period. That means you're looking like last time back here. Let me shade it for you. Okay, you're not looking at this period where the market kind of like trend for a long period of time. So what I'm expecting, right, is that you guys know, right, the whole number, right? So we'll be looking at around 290 and $300, the price range, whereby maybe Facebook, in terms of SPY, the recovery could hit about this zone here. So if you're looking at day chart, you want to take a little look in the shorter term. One of the indicators I'm using is called the EMA 13 and 26. So right now, I'm not looking at any crossover yet, but we're expecting that if it eventually cross, we'll see a more bullish pricing that is coming from here. Okay, so this is one of the things. And if you're looking to add some positions when the market is low, I would say that please have some of your portfolio position sizing. That means to say, are you allocating, right, certain percentages at certain key points? So right now we know that for SPY, the last round in my video I shared about, right, we are down about 30%. Okay, we're down about at least like 30% from the last round. So if you take a look at the peak to here, we are down at least about 35. Right now, I think we're down about only about 15. So it's not like totally like miss the boat. I think it will be based on your time frame, your time horizon. How much more are we looking at from here? Okay, so if you're looking at EMAs here, one of the very good tools is that it tells you the trend direction of the market. So I'm looking at a small recovery rebound. If you're looking at some retreat, maybe toward about 270, and eventually if it goes back to the 230 area again for the second support entry there. So for me personally, what I did was actually to just buy a little bit of quantity from time to time, so that I don't want to be sitting at the sideline and completely miss out the boat. Neither do I want to chase the market and realize that I bought at a high price. So what you can do in this method, right, is that you can do in tranches, entering at the highlighted boxes here, where you can actually consider splitting your portfolio into 5% and another 5%, because investing, right, is actually a long-term game. And just to share with you guys, the last round where we hit the huge support was in 2018 December. Now this is where the market actually points out, and coincidentally somewhere near we are looking at this. So will we experience a full-blown recession where the market goes on a decline for more than a year plus? I think it depends on how the country are doing their lockdowns, and we are looking at even in China the last time, right, where Wuhan leave off I would say their lockdown, right, was actually lifted. But what happens is that what if there's new cases that comes in, and then the cluster forms and the cluster start to spread, and the tracking begins to be very, very difficult. So just take note lah. There is many reasons why the market will drop, but if you have a portfolio plan, you kind of stick to your plan and then watch your investment results turn out to be something better in the long run. All right, so this is the video that I'm going to cover on for SPY. If you have other comments, right, please comment in the YouTube comments below, so that I can share more ideas and interact with the audience here today. All right. So the next thing actually I want to spend more time on, right, is actually on the Facebook, right? Facebook. I think Facebook has been a very critical, I would say, stocks, right, that a lot of people are actually invested in it, right? A lot of people are actually using the services for every day. But do you know, right, actually Facebook owns not just Facebook app. They actually have Instagram. They actually have the Facebook Messenger. And of course, the most importantly, WhatsApp, right? So my question for you is, would your life be very different if these 4 apps disappear the next day? Okay, so leave your comments also in the YouTube comments below. What do you think about it? Okay, so one of the things about Facebook earnings, right? I just want to give you guys an update about the Q4. Q4 is 2019 Q4. What they share about their current situation, and in the next coming where they report the Q1, right, 2020 Q1 on April 29, right, we're going to understand a little bit like how likely the earnings are affected because of COVID-19. Are you guys ready? Right, so let's go and take a look. So this is actually from the Seeking Alpha, right? There's actually a PDF that actually attached the company earnings. I'm going to give you some key points, right, about what is important when we measure about Facebook and its earnings, okay? So that you can understand the business a little bit better. Now, before we begin in all these things, right, Facebook actually makes most of its money from advertising. Like 90% of its revenue comes from advertising. So the more users it has in a platform, right, the higher the engagement of people who are buyers, okay, people who are advertisers of businesses, large companies, small, medium, SMEs, they use Facebook to reach out to more of users. So the moment if Facebook climbs in the users, the more attractive, more advertisers will be coming in onto Facebook platform. That's how simple the business model is. All right. So you can see here, Facebook actually use this thing called the daily active users. What it actually means is that every day, right, on average, right, how many people are actually using Facebook. So you can see here there's since 2017, and there is a very, I would say, a steady climb, because maybe more and more countries are having a network where people access to internet 2 to 3 years ago, and it's now even better in 2019. I think in 2020, we will see this even bigger because COVID-19, a lot of people are forced to stay at home, right, for the safety of the frontline staff, the healthcare, even for their own safety. So what we are expecting, of course, is that there will be a point, right, where the users will stop growing, right? This is because there's only so much people on this world that will be able to use Facebook from time to time. Okay. So another thing is that they measure, use this thing called the monthly active users. So you can see, right, compound from here is about 2.4 billion since I would say the Q4 of 2009. So you still be climbing, and of course the biggest you can see like the biggest chunk, right, actually come from Asia Pacific. Okay, Asia Pacific, right? So another key point that you want to take note here is that Facebook actually have this matrix, right, where they use ARPU. So what is that? Average revenue per user. Now, right, not everybody need to spend money on Facebook, right? Some people use Facebook for free, like myself. I use Facebook for reaching out to my friends, my family, and of course, in this way, more people can know about content. But there are some people, on the other hand, use businesses to reach out to users, right? Because they want to promote their company products, improve their branding, have some followers along the way. So for Facebook, right, the average revenue per user is kind of like all the revenue, right, divided by so-called the users that is in the platform. So you can see these are the areas, right, where they cover by countries, how much money is actually coming in from here. Okay, so this gives you a glimpse. But I want to share something is that right now Facebook is actually pretty much matured, right? They have gone into WhatsApp. Last time they have Instagram, then they gone into WhatsApp, and then now they have Facebook Messenger. And the reason why is because they are helping people to connect better, sending messages. You know, now even Facebook Messenger has the auto bot, right? That can help you to respond. This will help businesses around the world. So right now they are using this thing called the family daily active people. It's like this whole group lah. So you can see it's about 2.26 billion of the users from here. Okay, so I'm not going to go so much about the active number of active people because it is kind of like maintaining at the 2.5 billions and above. But I want to share with you one thing is that it concerns Facebook a lot because the moment you have a rise of apps like TikTok, right? Are you using TikTok? So TikTok kind of like pull away some of the users into TikTok. And if TikTok starts to attract advertisers to advertise, then of course it is kind of like what? Competition from here. And we are seeing this rise in the world of apps where, you know, businesses, right, are fighting for what? Attention, are fighting for the space to reach out to many of the users. Okay, so right now you can see every time, right, when we hit the Q4, right, in the season, right, Facebook revenue actually kind of spiked over on all the Q4. This is something very interesting. I think it's because of the year-end seasons that's coming, and of course some huge events like New Year celebration, Christmas celebration, and there's a lot of brands are reaching out to the consumers during this period of time. But you can see, right, there's a steady climb over the revenue since 2017 Q4 to now, right? So this is for the last quarter result. And of course, by in terms of money in the landscape, US and Canada belongs to the biggest chunk of the revenue by geography. Okay, but the most important thing I think now, right, is to really come and understand about the recent case that happens, right, that took a hit in Facebook total earnings per share. That means to say the total revenue that they bring in, and somehow because of some operation issues, their Q1 of 2019 and Q2 of 2019, in this picture here, you can see there's a significant drop. And why is that so? Okay, because since then, that Facebook has been caught in the highlight, right, of the government, right, where there is something regarding their privacy issue. Now, if you didn't know, right, back then there's this Cambridge Analytica and some of the cases whereby, you know, the data was being leaked, you know, people were being controlled because of paid ads and so forth. So all these issues are actually building up, and it actually affects their operating margin. That means the profit margin, I would say, of the company as well. So it used to be around 50-40, 50-40, and then you have a low 20s that happens. So you can make a guess, 2019, the entire, I would say the earnings per share total has gone down as compared to 2008. Then later, if you still hang on in the video here, I'm going to share with you at the end of a few slides more in depth about the business segment. And of course, you can take a look here, the net income, that means the profit income, right, of the company has also gone down from here. So what happens? Now in this slide, I'm going to share with you is that the company has been paying up to at least $5 billion, $3 billion, then subsequently another $2 billion, right, related to certain issues that they got caught into. Okay, basically, you know, the lawmakers are punishing them. So in these two red boxes, you can see they paid $3 billion, and then after that $2 billion, all settled in the year of 2019. Okay, so you can see, right, when company violates certain rules and it harms the user in some way, even like their own personal data, this is of a serious case in the US, all right? So $5 billion, right? Do you guys think is a huge sum of money that Facebook has been paying off? Yes. Okay, in my point of view, yes, it's a huge sum. So you can see that this is the earnings per share that I have been talking about, and there's it has been like significantly lower for Facebook over the last 4 quarters combined. Okay, the last 4 quarters of 2019 combined. So let's take a look. Even for their cash flow, right? There is also some. You can see that the net cash flow from operating activities. Why is this figure important? Because this is like, you know, you imagine you have at McDonald's, right? The cashier is form part of the operations. They help you to receive the money from there. Okay, so Facebook, of course, there's no cashier, but what they do is the ads is being spent in the account. So this is the kind of money that they have been receiving. Okay, so despite this, you can see that they have reached now in terms of the, I would say $9 billion marks, and it's continued to climb from here. All right. So one key concern about Facebook, I think you can see the title here in this slide, is that there's a dropping in the active user. This was actually taken from their 10K, which is the annual report. And they say that, Facebook constantly has to research and development, right, to spend money hiring more engineers and so forth to make the app better, safe, and of course, entertaining, right, for people to continue to be engaged. But if let's say the popularity of other companies start to step up, then the drop in active users will go down, and eventually the revenue now, which is the advertisers, will now start to shift away. Okay, there's no guarantee, but one thing for sure is that Facebook is not going to stop there. They're going to come out with something like what we call the Facebook Pay. I'm not sure whether it's going to go through WhatsApp to send money, because for me, I think this is fantastic. It's like the company now, right, is attacking the, I would say, the payment gateway segment. Okay, payment gateway segment. And the other one I read about, right, is on Instagram, right? Facebook is going to work with Shopify. In fact, I think they have really tested it a couple of quarters ago, where users, right, there's a lot of influencers, a lot of brands actually selling their products. So why not, right, use Instagram and instantly buy it? So you go through the platform to do it. So these are some of the things that Facebook may announce. I'm not sure by when, like example, the Pay, but I do know that WhatsApp Pay has already been tested in India lah. So is it good? I think so. But one thing is, when it goes global, then we can see a full-fledged improvement in the earnings of Facebook from here. Okay, so Facebook, right? I would say recently, this is taken from the Market Watch, the website that I read, right? A lot of us are now thinking right now, if you have invested in Facebook or you have not invested in Facebook, this is the key thing, right? Is the advertiser, right, spending money in COVID-19, right? So what happens, interestingly, is that because people are staying at home, right, Facebook, right, experience a surge in terms of their usage. People are using more on Facebook Live, they're using more on WhatsApp call, even the messages has also increases. But what about the advertising? So one of the things that is written here in the first red box that you see here is that Facebook, right, actually have a lot of spenders, what we call the advertisers, right, comes from travel website. Okay, comes from travel website, and this accounts to be 30% of Facebook ads revenue. So can you imagine where we have a slow or close down in certain airport operation, and then this leads to slow down in order in certain airline services, and of course this eventually leads to one more thing, right, which is people go through booking websites or other websites to actually go travel until the lockdown is lifted or they ease off for people to travel safely. So how long will it be? We don't know, but at least we'll be looking like, maybe 50% of the 30% here. That means like we're looking like a 15% drop lah. So small businesses, right, don't need to say, right, some of them, they will likely to cut down on their spending. So look at the second box here, right? Even for movies like James Bond, No Time to Die, right, will cost 50 million of revenue in Facebook alone. So if let's say they postpone it to November, so then do you think Facebook revenue is going to be shrink? Okay, so comment in the YouTube comment below what are your views from here. All right, so something also interesting is that I think it's not just Facebook. I think Google will also suffer some of the revenue because small businesses are being disrupted right now. I think the heavily hit one are what we call the entertainment, F&B, and some retailer shop, right? So what's the point of advertising when you cannot have some customers interacting and buying through them? So this is one thing that also is from our Market Watch. And actually got this from this Facebook announcement itself, right? In most countries, right, hardest hit by the virus, right, messaging has gone up 50%. So we have something that is bad, which is advertising shrinking. But at the same time, we have a group of users that actually spike up because people are staying at home. Messaging has already gone up from here. So even like in Italy, if you continue to read on this picture here, more than like 70% more time is actually spent across all the different apps since the crisis arrived. Wow. So can you imagine that, right? So if COVID-19 pushes Facebook to be more popular, I think eventually the advertiser may be still attracted to spend some money. But it depends on the businesses and the business model, right? So one of the things also is that Facebook, I think they announced officially that in this paragraph, it says this, there's an increase in traffic across the messaging services and people are spending more time to talk about stories, to get updates about their families and friends. But at the same time, there are many businesses around that they are not able to advertise as much. Okay, so it's a pros and cons that we are looking at this. So in the second last sentence, it says here, we have seen a weakening in the ads businesses for countries that are taking aggressive action to reduce the spread of COVID-19. All right, so I hope you learned something so far regarding this. I'm going to bring in you deeper to, how is Facebook earnings like, what's their cost like and so forth. So it gives you a little bit of gauge to the performance, okay, the upcoming performance. So one thing you look here is that we have a revenue percentage of Facebook earnings 2019, right? So we have a cost of revenue, research and development, marketing, right? General and admin, right? So this takes up 66% of Facebook total revenue, okay? Total revenue. And when it comes down to the net income, Facebook this year particularly, they have a slightly lower net income returns, right? The percentage is about 26%. So you can see across the board, they have 39, 40, but 2019 was like at 26. And that explains why you look at valuation in market, right? The pricing in on this cause Facebook price to be lower. So this is one thing that always happens in the stock market. All right. So why the general and administrative cost goes up? Because if you look here, it consists of legal related costs, salaries from here. All right. So what I read was that Facebook is increasing their headcount and staff because they have to follow through certain compliance. That means you're looking like certain ads, not related to politics, certain privacy being protected. You need more people, and of course, the worst thing, spreading of fake news, right? I don't know how they're going to do it, but somehow they say they have done it and they're increasing their staff cost to that. Okay, so if you look here, they also explain why is there a drop in terms of the advertising, but at the same time, right, it says that more advertising per piece has been reaching out, okay, but the cost per ads has been dropping. So one thing is that traditionally, right, people of certain companies just, I would say they spend money in Facebook, but right now what they do is they try to build organically. That means they get people to enjoy their posts and follow them, spread the message and lead a true followers. So with that case, right, then of course the spending has starts to, I would say the ads has started to be cheaper, but at the same time, more for that, more number of pieces. If you read the second paragraph, the first sentence, right, number of ads delivered increased by 33% in 2019. So this is good news, right? We're going to see more kind of different ads, but the decrease in average price per ads has gone down. So this is the trade-off from here. All right. Also, if you look here, this is the quarterly. Every quarter, right, we are seeing different revenue segment, and you can see that Facebook is really growing quarter by quarter by quarter until the December. They have reached almost close to like 20. I would say this is advertising, right? You can see, right, they have reached so much higher. And of course, for me, I would say that if you really take a good look, right, since the 2019, I think they have recorded the expenses of the fine and increase in the headcount from here. And this also shows that the business competition landscape has gone up significantly for Facebook just over the last 2 years. But I think they still own fair amount of attractiveness to advertise. Okay, so right now, right, the earnings call will be on 29 April for Q1 2020. For me, I will be looking very closely. If I am doing the options here, okay, one of the things that I would like to do is to explore the options. And right now, I'm going to bring to you some of the key levels in Facebook so that you can decide, right, if you are buying Facebook shares, right, maybe you want to comment, right, what is the pricing range or valuation that you are doing to do so. Because right now, I'm not seeing a drop in the prices recently. In fact, they have kind of like spiked up. So the moment, right, if the EMA would cross over, like I said, we should likely see a more bullish pricing aspect. The highest for Facebook on the recent can hit about $220 per share. Right now, you're looking at is at least, I would say, 180 so far. Okay, so if there's any dip, right, right now, I would say that I will be looking at it even closer because for Facebook, I think even like 150 on the some of the option, 160 for the option strike price, there's some premiums. I'm going to head in to take a look and see what happens from here. For now, I don't have any position in Facebook, but in the next 27 hours or so, I may do so. But just to give you guys a gauge, April 29 is where we get the earnings result. So I'll be looking at how much have the revenue string lah. Okay, but I think that I'm expecting a forecast about 15% of their usual quarter. Okay, so if you have any deeper insights, right, please share with me, because Facebook is really one of the growth component, right, of many people in their portfolio because of their records, of their track records. Okay, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you soon in the next video. Goodbye.